Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you, Mike? How is it
I'm
going?
good. I'm
What is
good. Good
up?
day. Can't complain. Got my second COVID shot. Got to be on the news wearing my Jaws
That was
mask.
cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah.
I was like, that was cool. Um, our debut of the premiere of the Back in the Day and the show came on today, and it looks great, folks. You got to check it out. It's really fun. It was actually really quick. We kind of just, it was actually like our just first test run, and we just went with it.
Yeah.
uh, but we had a blast. We had fun. Uh, Anyways, so I heard there was like a new Jaws movie coming out. Mike, have you?
No, I heard the Meg 2. I don't know if that's
Well,
possible, but did you say, are you saying there are more
yeah, I guess.
sequels coming?
Yeah, look at this. This is crazy. I mean,
Hmm.
Jaws made you afraid to go in the water.
Yes, it did.
Jaws 2 made you afraid to go back in the water.
Hmm.
Jaws
Basically.
3D was a new dimension in terror. In Jaws 4 The Revenge, it was personal. Then it was just business. Then pure pleasure. Cyber Jaws made you afraid to log
Cyber
on. And Robo Jaws made you afraid
Robo
of
Jaws.
robotic sharks. Then Chief Brody's grandson assembled
Chief
the
Brody's
secret
grandson.
team of shark hunters. Jaws 10, it was man versus shark versus all the terrors of the deep. Outer space, then a prequel, and a sequel to the prequel. And then a new era in terror began. Jaws started a family. Battled a Russian shark named Ivan
Battle of Russian
Tchaikovsky.
Shark,
That's the
Jaws.
best.
Big Apple and learned about love from a mysterious
Learned about
stranger.
love.
Jaws 18 Origins, the mind-blowing reboot. Now,
I'm sure
the
everybody's
oceans are
seen this.
disappearing, and to save their home, the sharks must attack. Jaws 19.
Jaws.
This time, it's really, really personal.
Really?
Coming soon.
That's pretty clever.
That's funny, huh? I mean, you guys probably have all seen it. All the Jaws fans, they've already seen it.
Some of
But
those I'd go see.
I think that's cool though. That's it doesn't get old. I was trying to find the crazy Dennis Quaid fall, and I was going to put that on there for James tonight, the cocaine-induced fall. But I could only find the boat when he pulls up on the boat, and he gets out of the boat. That's dramatic too. The speedboat pulls up on the with all the kids on the shore.
uh, I
Anyways,
like a little logo you added the Jaws 3D shark to it. That was kind of cool.
thanks. So when we do our Back to the Day next week, we'll have some fun topics to talk about. Everybody,
Yeah.
if you guys haven't checked it out, it's cool because Keith and Matt, who is a musician, he's amazing. That poor guy, both went through hell with that "Let It Be" song. Is cursed. I'm telling you, that's why I broke the Beatles up. No sound, video, sound.
Well, it's
Anyways,
funny
Matt,
when I got in the car when I left work today, got in the car, turned on the radio, Let It Be. I was like, oh, that's
are you
no.
serious?
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's pretty prophetic. Yeah.
That is weird, dude. No way. Oh my God.
So yes, it's Back in the Day with Mike and Jay. Go to our page. We're slowly inviting people, but you can find it and give our video a watch. It's a little under a half hour. We're trying to keep them short, and I think we had fun. It was fun. We talked about a lot of stuff. Keith, great contribution. Matt, as always, great contribution. So as we progress, it'll be better, I'm sure. Who's saying hi, guys? That is James Scott. Hi, James. Who else is here tonight?
Hi,
Damon
James.
is here.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Damon.
Matt is here. Let's see. Nate is here. Hi, Nate.
Hi, Nate. Oh, hey. You know, here's something for y'all. For those of you who are camera shy, I have a great idea. If you'd like, I don't know why this is doing that. It's like a little light here going crazy. If you'd like, what you do is just put like a little tape on the top of your camera or your PC if you're watching this at home. and then we'll send a link to you on the instant messenger, and you can come up and we just hear your voice. We don't need to put you on camera.
Yeah.
So like just put a piece of tape on your iPhone or your Android at the top part of the, block it off or your computer. And then I'll send a link to it. And then you, if you want to, come on and just come on the audio. You'll be sitting low and then we'll pull you up. So.
Until we're live, my wife is calling.
And I muted him. All right. So, Nate, anybody you guys want to go on live with audio? I'd love for it. You have to look in your inbox and your instant messenger. Let's go with some people that haven't been on. Nate and James, I'd love to have you just come on for a few seconds. So if you say yes, I'll just send it to you. Just have to be in the audio. You don't have to be in the video. So yeah, that'll be really cool. All right. Well, I muted you, Mike. I muted you while you were talking.
Yes, you said that. And I'm back.
Okay. I want to see the Russian Jaws too. Totally. This time is very, very personal.
Yeah, like a Russian Quint, like Drago, and he goes up to the shark.
So true, Drago.
Goes up to the shark, goes, I must kill you. Yeah, it'd be cool. It would be cool.
All the Family Guys episodes and the Jaws.
Those are classic.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be classic. We should do that next week. Try to get all the Family Guy clips and other because we were watching Family Guy actually this past Sunday, and Brian found out he had another family, and they're very smart. They got 1 million books, and they're talking to him about like Sense and Sensibility and Moby Dick, and he's just like, he goes, "You got Jaws? We can talk about Jaws." And then Juanita goes, "Oh my God," because any Jaws reference sets her off. But yeah, there's lots of there's The Simpsons where Homer goes to confession, and among one of his confessions is he coveted the wife in Jaws too. So yeah, we should it'll be next week. Next week we'll look for animated Jaws fun.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Animated Jaws.
The show writes itself. Yes.
It does.
It does.
I actually think the guy that's the writer is funny, but I don't think he's that great of a. He's not funny like.
Oh, Seth MacFarlane?
I don't really think so. You think so?
I think it's hilarious.
Really? I don't.
Well, he's also I don't know if you know the story. He does a lot of 9/11 stuff in it. But he was actually in Boston. He overslept. He was supposed to be on the second plane that hit the towers. But he got to the airport late, and they wouldn't let him. I mean, the plane was still there, but they wouldn't let him go through to get on the plane. So he was supposed to be on the second plane. The plane hit the second tower. So that's cool. I like that.
Wow.
So yeah, Seth MacFarlane, big Jaws fan. Thank God. Otherwise, he'd been dead for 20 years.
How did you come across this Michael's Facts? I didn't pull it up yet. Michael's Facts.
We wouldn't have Ted. We wouldn't have Ted the talking teddy bear if he'd got on that plane.
And I've got something on the air. I mean, not everyone can say that.
We now return to Big Jaws.
Stop eating our boat, Jaws.
I'm gonna eat your boat, and then I'm gonna eat you guys. Oh my God, what's that?
It's bigger Jaws.
Oh my God, now we have a common enemy. We have to work together.
It's called Way Bigger Jaws.
Way bigger Jaws. Way bigger Jaws.
Way bigger. And then we could also do the one where Roy Scheider narrated the How to Go to the Toilet book. And the one where they were doing like a spinoff of Stand By Me, and Dreyfuss is telling the story, and he goes, and so and so was my other friend. He sounds like Roy Scheider, and then they just talk. They talk. Hey, Richard, how you doing? He goes, hey, we should get together and talk about Jaws sometimes. And Dreyfuss is like, oh, here's my phone number. It's like 1-800. And he's like, yeah.
Wait a minute. You just like faintly dropped and then came back up again. That was weird. I didn't hear it. So what happened? Said I
They
tried
talk a little. They talk a little bit, and Roy says, "Hey, we should get together sometimes, and we can talk about Jaws."
Yeah.
And Dreyfus goes, "Oh, that'd be great. My phone number is 1-800." and
Did he really say that?
Yes, yeah, it's funny.
Genius.
We'll,
He's
yeah,
genius.
we'll run the clip next week. Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's pretty funny.
awesome. Oh, he's witty, huh?
Oh yeah.
Well, we have a Nate. He's so awesome. Thanks, Nate. You're the best. I appreciate it. He's coming back on. This time I can see his background with all his Jaws posters and everything. I have him muted
Goodies.
right now. So
Okay.
I have him muted right now. So
Yes.
we'll pull him up. And you ready, Nate? All right. And here is our friend Nate Jones. Hi, Nate.
There he is.
How are
How you doing, guys?
How you
ya? How are
doing?
ya?
Doing all right. This is a highlight of my week.
Oh,
Yay!
well, thank you.
Very serious. Yeah. Hey, great to be back on. Sorry I had to bore you guys with coming back on again.
No,
Oh, not
not
a
at
problem.
all.
Happy to have you.
I made sure this time I brought you out in this is actually my garage. So I have a couple memorabilia things here. Couple other things hanging up on the wall too. I gotta say, I have to show you my current pride and joy. It's my last Father's Day gift.
Yeah, definitely.
So my wife most lovingly cross-stitched this for me for Father's Day last
Oh
year.
my God, that's
Oh, wow.
amazing.
Yeah, I can only fathom how many hours she put into it. So
She
it
did
hangs.
that? That's awesome.
Yeah, it hangs on my wall right next to my entering Amity Island sign. So
Wow, Nate.
Very
She's
nice.
good.
very, very cool. She's a great lady. She also got me probably my favorite Quint poster over here on the wall as well.
Pressure can one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the
Yeah,
color of
yeah.
your. I like the color of the back of your wall. I like that color. It's
Oh,
pretty.
thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
So Nate,
Okay.
tell us. Everybody, rub their hands together. Tell us about your first time.
So I only have so many memories of the first time because I was really young, but I do know that I saw it on ABC. I was a little too young to see it in the theaters, and I remember catching it on ABC and catching, some of the scenes in between. I remember being pretty jumpy during certain times, naturally when the head pops out, and not so much the head popping out, but the loud, shrill noise.
The violin.
Yeah. Which actually occurs right after. I remember that really kind of spooking me pretty bad. Obviously, seeing Bruce come out of the water was a pretty spooky scene. But I think probably the worst scene for me as a kid, what kind of wrecked me with the water, was the cage scene. When Hooper was in the cage under the water, and he kind of, out of the blue, just kind of crushed the cage, and that hit me pretty good. Now, I was very young. I didn't have any nightmares about it, but not to segue to another one, but I got to say, being a kid of the 70s and 80s, really into the horror films, the only film I ever had nightmares about actually wasn't Jaws 1. It was Jaws 2 was the one that got me. Yeah, I can remember, and it wasn't, I could tell you vividly as the day had happened what my reoccurring dream was. I would go to bed, fall asleep in my trundle bed, and I would wake up in my bed laying in calm water, and all I would do is sit up, and I would see a dorsal fin come out of the water about 100 yards away, and it would stream past me, and that was enough anticipation and shock to literally wake me up from my sleep. That was it. I would fall back asleep, and the exact same thing would happen. It was the only time that I ever remember having any type of nightmares because of a movie. And, you think about all the movies that came out then, the great, like The Exorcist and some of the other films. And that was the only one that did it. Yep. And there you go. The cage scene. Still to this day, I just think, put yourself in Hooper's shoes in that cage. Just unbelievable.
I thought I'd pull it up for you, Nate. Bring some memories back. I like how you talked about that. So I searched and grabbed it.
It's like watching a bus with teeth come at you.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, that was one of the scenes that got me.
That's just, I think the scene that, I saw it, I'm sure I've told this story before, I turned 15. That's September, and I wanted to go see Dog Day Afternoon, and for my birthday, and my dad dropped me off at the theater, and I was too young, and the girl in the box office asked me if I had seen Jaws, but for me it was the Ben Gardner scene, the head scene. I'd seen most of the films I had seen were more adult because I used to go with my parents to drive in, and they'd have like the lighter fare film first, and then they'd show like the Clint Eastwood or the John Wayne or the Steve McQueen movie, but I would lay in the back and pretend to be asleep and watch it. But that still is the moment that grabbed me, and that so I'm here 46 years later now.
Yeah, without doubt.
Pretty intense. Pretty intense.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Jay? What's your first memory?
Oh, mine's just the Ben Gardner. My dad's seen it. I actually was going to interview my dad tonight and have him tell the story about how many times he saw it, and like because he already seen it, and he kicked under my seat when Ben Gardner's head pops out. So I freaked out. So that was like, all summer long we were waiting, because if you think about it, I was like, what, 7 or 8? So I had just got done first communion, and I wanted the trailers for Jaws were coming on TV, and I'm like, oh my god, I want a shirt. So I was wearing a shirt. I gotta find this picture. Wearing a shirt with my Huffy pink bike that I got for my communion I was Catholic, and I had my Jaws shirt on, and it hadn't even premiered yet. You know what I mean? Like, it was already out, and I was just so into it, and I hadn't gone to see it. And we had to wait like 2 months because my dad said, we got to wait till it, settles down. It's crazy, So I finally got to see it, and I was just like, this movie's awesome. This is like the coolest movie I've ever seen in my life. This is like, I love this movie. It never gets old. Hence my family.
I say, Nate, have you ever seen it on the big screen?
Oh yeah, actually, I saw it the first time I saw it on the big screen was actually Father's Day. I think it was the 40th anniversary. That was the first time, and the magic to that wasn't me seeing it on the big screen. It was me listening to other people react to it on the big screen.
Exactly.
And watching them jump when I remember it shocking me. Probably my favorite time. I've seen it, I think, 3 times on the big screen so far. So for Valentine's Day, I think I mentioned it before, I rented, the movie theaters have been shut down, just recently have opened, but one local theater was doing private viewings where you would literally rent the entire theater. And for Valentine's Day, I rented the entire theater, and they were showing, you had a choice of one of the top 100 collection movies of all time, when one of them happened to be Jaws. So naturally, we chose that one. But my favorite showing was my second time in the Vineyard. We went and caught the picture downtown in Edgartown. Uh-huh. And that was incredible because people stood up and clapped at the end of the movie. And that's like, that's as close to being an homage as you could possibly get, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So
you've seen it 3 times in the theater?
3 times in the theater.
Oh, that's cool.
Absolutely.
My friend Matt and I, we saw it 157 times the first run. So yeah, well, it played forever.
I was listening to an interview that you were in on, and I think what I heard was that when it came out, you caught the first 4 showings of it in a row or something like that. Second one?
For Jaws 2, we did. We got to the theater early, and there was some Jaws nerd already there in front of us. So we offered to buy his tickets so we could be the first one. So we bought the first tickets.
Very cool. I have 2 converts in my house now too. My wife, I turned into a Jaws fanatic when we were in college.
Good.
Sorry, I thought I muted it. My bad. I cut you guys off with Quinn. Sorry.
And then my son, who just turned 16 in the last couple months, he absolutely wanted to stop.
Another generation.
You betcha. You got to keep it moving.
Hang on, Nate.
No
Thanks.
problem.
All right. Amazing, right? Amazing. Amazing,
Unbelievable.
right? That's awesome. That is awesome.
Jay, who posted the picture the other day of it was of the shark, but it had like a piece of glass stuck in its head from when it came through the window, and they had just noticed that. I'd never noticed that it had like a piece of glass stuck in its head. I
Was
don't know
it,
if it was.
what, James Scott send it? Maybe, I think.
I don't know. I don't know if it was on the Jaws United page or where it was, but it was pretty cool to notice something like that, because you watch the movie so much, stuff slips by, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't realize he had a piece of glass stuck in his head.
Oh yeah. I'm listening to you, but then I'm also looking at I'm looking at Nate, and I'm like, doesn't he look like a young Walter White?
He does. He
Doesn't he
does.
look like him? Heisenberg. We're gonna get you that. You
He's-
look, and I think Walter White's a handsome guy. That's a compliment. I think he's an amazing
thank
actor. One of the best
He's-
actors of our time.
Nate's,
What do you think?
Nate's the danger, not the
Look
shark.
at him. He looks
Nate's,
like Walter
Nate's the
White. I
danger.
swear to God, with it, like unbelievable. Matt, his first viewing was at the Hillsborough Rocking Chair Theater. Waited in line for ages. It starts with a girl getting naked, going swimming. The next thing you know, you're scared to death. The entire theater stayed to watch the credits, applauded when the shark exploded, applauded when Brody and Hooper made their way back, and stood and applauded at the end. Been in theaters where everyone else applauded at the end, but it's the only standing O I've ever seen. Thanks for sharing that. That was a nice story. Wait a minute, that's Mary Lee, guys. Nate, you know Susie, Mary Lee,
Yeah.
who's always
Yep.
on the Jaws page. That's
Hi.
her. Hi.
That's her. Hello. Who else has joined us since? Milos is here. Victor,
I'm sorry. Hi,
hello.
Milos. I didn't get to bring you up there. There's a question for you, Nate.
What
From
about
Victor.
Marge in Jaws 2? That was a pretty scary scene, but I think what made the Marge death scene scarier was the fact that you couldn't see what was happening. She was there, and then you hear a bit of a crunch, and then she was gone. So that was definitely a scary, spooky scene. But to be honest with you, for whatever reason, the anticipation of watching the fin come up, I don't know if it was behind the skier
Yeah.
in Jaws 2 or what, but the anticipation of it is just what gets me more than anything else. I don't know. And that kind of ruined me for a long time. I mean, really, not so much what you see, it's what's under the surface. And I think a lot of that, is the credit with how those movies were shot,
Oh yeah, because
Without a doubt.
you're basically at water level, and so you don't really know what's, and then Spielberg would come up with the music cues, and then, the first couple times you heard it, there was a shark, but then you heard it and there wasn't a shark. And then you're more more anticipatory, just kind of sitting at the edge of your seat. So yeah.
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
so.
Heisenberg. Oh, I love it, Nate. I
I'm
have
gonna
the
have to look
same.
that up because
I
I'm
love
drawing
your-
a blank on who that is. So I'm gonna have to look that
You
up.
don't? Oh,
Where's she?
hell.
Breaking Bad.
I'll be right
Bryan
back.
Cranston. You're Bryan
Oh,
Cranston.
okay. All right. I got you there.
Yeah, you're young looking Bryan Cranston. Like Malcolm in the Middle. Watch Malcolm in the Middle. That's how you look like.
That's,
Malcolm in the middle with a
you
beard.
had facial hair there, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Sure. Why not?
Yeah. So did you introduce it to your son on home video, or did he go to a theater with you? Or
I introduced it to him on home video. My son and I typically have movie nights, maybe like every week or couple weeks. We'll just kind of get together and hang out. He's very much, a lot of kids I'm finding his age are very, very into right now a lot of the movies, both cult movies and big movies coming up through the 80s. Being that they're 16, they're really into the slasher films and stuff of that matter. And he's always been really kind of down that avenue with things. And so he always knew I was a big Jaws fan and, Star Wars and things like that. And so he always wanted to follow my footsteps with that. And the first time I showed it to him, I think he was 8. And I kind of, went back and forth. Is this a good age? Is it not a good age? Because I didn't want it to be, to scare him. But so, we waited till he was about 8. And so I have out in my garage here, I have a flat screen set up on the wall, you know, an old surround sound system. And so that's where I debuted it to him the first time. And then the second time he saw it, there's a local drive-in here around here that is still open. In fact, they just went digital a couple of years ago, and they did Jaws at the drive-in, and he and I went and saw it at the drive-in, and he absolutely went bonkers over it. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, my grandson, I think my son probably saw it when he was 8. My grandson is going to be 5 in June, but he's seen it, and he likes when he comes over, he wants to pull it up on my phone. So he's Jaws crazy. Got to get that next generation.
Teach him young.
That's right. There you go, James. My son was 4. Good for you.
You know, it's like I understand some parents are like, I don't want my child to see that violence, and I totally understand. But you know, I don't know. As a kid, I mean, come on. If Jaws came out and like the parents back then said you can't go see Jaws, that would be the only kid in the place that hadn't seen Jaws. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood saw Jaws, right? But now it's like everything is violence. So like, you know, we considered rated R because of that death scene at Quint. I mean,
yeah, but it wasn't. It was, you know, and we've talked about this before. The horror movies of today and of the last 10 years, they're just, it's, you know, blood and guts and heads falling off. It's not, you know, that's what makes The Exorcist so great. That's what makes Jaws so great, is because you're seeing the movie in your head. You're imagining the worst. You know, somebody gets their head lopped off and it rolls down the hill. Okay, big deal. But, you know, I'd rather be like this, waiting to see if someone's going to get his head lopped off while roll down the hill. So, Nate, which Jaws film made you laugh? Jaws 3D or Jaws the Turkey? Victor.
I'd have to answer that and probably say Jaws the Revenge. You know, I mean, I remember watching Jaws 3D on HBO as a kid, and we watched it. I wouldn't say it was a great film. It wasn't like the worst film I'd ever seen either, especially a lot of the B-rate horror flicks that we watched a lot as kids in the 80s. But Jaws the Revenge, I got to say, I think like the first 10, 15 minutes of Jaws the Revenge were actually not done too bad. I think, you know, we started out with the night scene in Edgartown, and when Sean, you know, was taken by the shark.
Yeah, that's a horrific scene. That's my favorite.
That's a good scene.
That's
I thought it was done fairly well. Yeah,
that's an eerie, gory, great scene. That gave me the chills. It's one of the that's the best. That's a good call right there. Yeah,
in the harbor was good, but then it seems like once, you know, they show Mom on the ferry, you know, and then getting on the plane and heading to the Bahamas. Once it got to the Bahamas, it held its time a little bit, but then it started to get kind of laughable. Maybe outside of the banana boat scene, just
the banana boat scene.
That's awesome.
And it was that was done well. But some of the other scenes, like I can't think of what his name. When Mario Van Peebles gets taken off the mast of the ship.
Oh yeah,
Jake.
Yeah.
So Jake. It looked like it was shot in slow-mo, but the more I watch it, it looked like the shark was moving very slowly. So they told the actors to try and mime themselves because it's almost like very slowly, and all of a sudden falls at normal speed into the shark's mouth. And
so it was like bad stop motion animation, like they're like filming a scene frame by frame. Dennis Quaid on
Milos is saying his first remembrance on Jaws is Jaws 3D in the movie theater in Belgrade. Jaws 1 and 2 on the television, Jaws 4 on VHS. Thanks for sharing, Milos. We have to watch Dennis Quaid. I'm sorry, Nate. You're on with us.
I'm cool with that.
You once said in an interview that cocaine was thinly disguised in the budgets of movies. Which of your movies do you think had the biggest budget in that area?
That would have to be. Was it a trilogy? I think it was a trilogy that I was doing back in the 80s. Probably the Jaws 3D.
Jaws 3D.
For me personally.
Really?
That
just a blowout.
Yes.
Yes. A blowout.
Yes. Had to get that shark some way.
Yes, exactly. A blizzard. If you watch that movie now, could you tell could you tell?
Yeah, every frame.
Really?
Yeah, I can tell. Can you guys, Nate? I'm sorry. That was for James Scott. That's a long. I gotta unmute you. Sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
Mark Gruner told me a lot of stories I didn't use in the book just because I couldn't verify them. But one of his stories is that they used to have every Friday a cigar boat would just pull up to the dock and it would be full of cocaine for the cast and crew. So for Jaws 2, but I mean I don't know if that's true. Nobody else ever mentioned that to me, but of course I didn't press because it's like I also I mean I know, but I didn't publish who gave everybody the crabs either. So
oh hell no!
Some things you keep to yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, when we get off,
I mentioned it. Yeah, I mentioned it in the book, but I don't name names. But it was pretty itchy scene.
Ooh, that's some good stuff right there.
Sounds like they were oiling the machine at times, I guess.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they were all, not teenagers, but most of them were 18, 19, 20. Back then, the drinking age was 18. But they were basically stuck in the hotel because the Holiday Inn in Navarre was just by itself. There was nothing else there. So they had to unwind somehow.
That's
I also
cool.
know all the actresses Mark slept with. He was very
man.
he was
tease Nate. It comes on and he tells us and then he can't wear it.
Well, no, what I said was
I gotta tell you, it's really cool news. I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
No, but I asked everybody, do you have any fond memories of fun memories of making the movie? And he's like, oh yeah, I slept with blah 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 blah. And I said, well, I mean something more like the boat flipped over or something like that.
They just kind of threw out their private information without even saying anything.
Yeah.
Wowzers!
Good thing I'm tight-lipped.
I was going to say sink ships because holy crap, you must have been like, hold on, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So.
I have a question for you, Nate. Which one do you prefer, Jaws 3 or Jaws 4? If you had to pick one.
Which one do I prefer? If I had to go overall, I would have to say 3 overall.
Yep.
Overall, at least there's some credit to that story. 4, just I don't know, for being such a big budget film, some of the stuff they tried to pull off in 4 just kind of seems. And I hate to be a critic because it was someone's idea and someone worked really hard to make it happen, but there's just things that go on in that movie that just, I don't know, kind of blow my mind. In fact, it was, it wasn't a B-rate movie. It was something that had a fairly decent budget and some serious people on there. And so 3, I think it's definitely deserves some credibility.
Yeah.
As far as story, it's even though it's not like 1 or 2, you can sit back with popcorn and a beer and let the movie roll, and it is what it is.
Yep. Still the highest grossing 3D film of the 20th century.
I loved it. My sister's a young Jaws fan, and that's the first thing she saw was the Jaws 3. I wanted to have her to come on and tell the story, but we'll wait. Now when did you see Jaws 3? I think it was in 1986 it came out, right? I think, 1986.
Jaws 3 was 83.
83? Oh my God.
Yeah, I think I saw it on HBO. I didn't go to the theaters. The one really good scene I thought as far as the visual effects from Jaws 3 was the scene that was shot from inside the shark's mouth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was
yes.
I thought that was done incredibly well, much better than some of the other scenes. And really, I think probably the biggest weak points of the movie were the 3D scenes, and some of the other stuff that was done was shot fairly well. You look at some of the different sharks that they used, and they look fairly believable. Definitely more believable than the shark in Jaws 4.
Yes.
In my opinion, it did more. It moved more. You looked at it when it had it locked in the vent. I thought it looked very good there. I thought some of the other motion shots looked good.
Let's look at it. Let's take a look.
Yeah, go bring it up. There we go.
In.
He's got it. All right, it's blocked. Safe, Brody. Go for it.
Okay, let's go.
Right? Crazy. That's crazy. Hey, Nate. Hey, you're doing an awesome job, Nate. Like having us go into one video as you go and talk about it. So we can
Oh,
see
hey,
the
thanks.
scene.
Listen,
I think that's pretty cool.
I love it. I can help you guys out. That's awesome. Yeah, seriously.
Mike, I brought you up and your eyes were closed so that I hit you again.
I was just like this.
Yeah, I went, uh-oh, and I brought them down again. You were like, why am I not up? Oh, God.
Yeah, the only clips that kind of suffered there was like, you know, when the shark broke through the glass. I mean, it looked like a miniature that had very little movement to it. And, you know, little stuff like that, the submersible, you know, I mean, even the scene when Michael was underwater looking for conchs and he gets chased by the shark into the wreck. Even parts of that I thought were done pretty well and looked pretty good. It was just, you know, I'm sorry. Now I'm getting into Jaws 4. I'm totally way off.
Okay,
Jaws.
no, it's
Oh, that's fine. No, it's true. It's
fun.
you know, going back into 3D. The 3D was it was like a big thing all of a sudden. It had been gone for 20 some years, and then all of a sudden there was like a big resurgence. You know, Friday the 13th in 3D. So you know, the process wasn't as developed now. I mean, if they had to make that now, it'd be amazing with the technology they have now. But it's still it holds up.
Well, there was
there we go, banana boats.
Banana boat scene.
Banana boats.
This is have it, folks. There you have it. There it is. Whoop. There it is.
I don't know if it's just me, but the worst part of that is the teeth. It's almost like they didn't spend the money to put all the rows of teeth in, so it just looks like just a bunch of fangs instead of like rows of teeth. But
it does. It looks weird.
It's still a cool scene, though.
It is the best scene. I love it. If James' ongoing joke, I can't put it away. If Quint hadn't spent the budget on Quaid hadn't spent the budget on couldn't give me money for the effects.
Hey, question for you guys. Since we're on the Jaws 4 kick, have you guys seen the reshot footage of Jaws 4 when Michael was in the submersible? When he gets attacked by the shark before he goes down to the wreck?
I don't think I haven't, no.
So there was, I saw it on YouTube about a year ago. So they took that particular scene because I think that's one of the scenes that gets a bad rap because you can see part of the armature for the shark.
Oh, is that the one they cleaned up?
Well, they completely reshot it and they CGI'd the shark. And to be honest with you, it really sells the scene.
Really?
Yeah. If you
look for that.
If you haven't seen it, that would be something to watch because what they do is they show the original shot and then they show it reshot with CGI, and that's really, I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, wow, they actually, it looked pretty good because that shark, I don't know, especially that scene with the banana boat. The skin is what did it for me. The skin of that shark looked like 80 grit sandpaper that got spray bombed with like primer. You know what I mean? It just didn't have that realistic look to it, and I just, yeah. So.
All right. Well, now that you said that.
Oh, here we go. Make it full screen.
Michael, what's going on? Michael, can you hear me? Michael! Michael, can you hear me? Michael!
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I was saying that was pretty cool
That was cool.
that they took the time. Because Nate, I think I've told the story before. They had so many production problems, and of course, they had a horrible opening weekend. Lance Guest tells the story that the movie opened on Friday, and then Sunday night he got a call from Joe Sargent, the director, and told him to be at the studio Monday for reshoots. And Lance asked him, "Didn't the movie open Friday?" And Joe Sargent said, "Yes, it did." So, yeah, and that was the first one where that's where the shark was flew and was harpooned by the mast of the ship. That's the original ending.
I like that. I like the shark as they showed it. Well, I muted us all because I don't want to hear the echo in the background. That's why I mute it.
Sure.
But I like your shirt, Nate. That's a stormtrooper. And then what is it having on there? Like the Starry Night?
Starry Night, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Love it. Are you a big Star Wars fan too?
Oh, are you kidding? Star Wars and Jaws? I mean, what else was there in the late 70s? I mean, really.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Freddie Mercury sang "Jaws was never my scene, and I don't like Star Wars."
Star Wars. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yep.
That's okay. Freddie Mercury gets a pass because his voice was so amazing.
He does.
Gets a pass.
Without a doubt. Yeah, he earned it. So.
Yeah, he did earn it. Not like Dustin Hoffman, though.
No.
Sorry.
I got something for Dustin Hoffman.
I love Dustin Hoffman, but I'm sorry, Mr. Hoffman, if you're watching, I should think Roy Scheider deserved an Oscar for all that jazz. I'm sorry, but Kramer versus Kramer.
Well, not only did he win the
Mediocre
Oscar,
movie,
not only did win the Oscar, but he mentioned all the other nominees
but
except Roy. But Roy, he said, I'm not better than Al Pacino. I'm not better than Jack Lemmon. I don't think Robert Duvall lost. And I'm waiting for him to say, I'm not better than Roy Scheider, but he never did. So, Dustin Hoffman, I'm looking for you. Hey, Luke, how are you?
Hi. Luke has a podcast with his friend too. It's called The Con Guy. And then Luke, you have you go on with him, right? And then do you also have a separate podcast, or is it just you and him together on The Con Man? Because lately, you guys, I've been watching the show. You have like girls on there, and I like to see the girls' interaction with it. It looks good. Your show looks really great. Just wanted to tell you that, by the way, because he gave us a lot of promo back and when they did an interview with us. So thank you, Luke, for coming on and saying hi. And then I see another person. I don't know who that is, but hi. I can't see the name, but unfortunately, every time you come on, guys, in the beginning of the Jaws Facebook site, there's always going to be like that little link that you have to hit actually every single time. It's because of privacy, and it's actually good for you because you want to disable it because that's how hackers get in and get your IP address. So when you go live, they want to know allow you, and then you hit the link and it says allow, and like a blue line, you just hit it. And every time for the show, your name will come up. If it doesn't come up, it's okay. It shows on the broadcast as we broadcast, but not really. You can see it now. So just FYI on that. Anyways, so Michael told the story about how he saw his first time at it. Now, what about your grandson? Like you said, when he saw it, what scene did you think do you remember what scene affected him the most?
Quint. He loves Quint. He loves Quint being eaten. He always, when he comes over, he wants to watch Quint get eaten.
I know. That is like the best. The part when we were kids.
Quiet.
Now, Nate, how many kids do you have? You have children, right?
I just have one son. I have one 16-year-old son.
Okay.
So
You're smart. You're like me. You stopped with one. You did the right thing.
And then, how old was he when he saw you? I think you mentioned this already, but
he was like 7, 8 years old. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, we wanted him.
So he's a big Jaws fan now, still too, like him, like you, right? You got to be.
Oh, Star Wars. Honestly, anything from the 80s. I mean, he and his buddies just seem to really eat that stuff up.
80s is a great decade of movies, man. We've got. I mean, look at all the John, what do you call them, Hughes movies. I mean, some of them are.
I truly didn't realize how special the 70s and 80s were with movies until I started rewatching them with my son. And then he would comment, I'm like, wow, what an era for movies. I mean, I go back, I grew up on like 60s Westerns, like Clint Eastwood is probably today one of my favorite actors of all time. I grew up on that kind of stuff and then got into, the action adventure movies and the horror films and just realizing that decade, say from, I don't know, say maybe like 72 on up to like the early 80s or even mid 80s were just some absolutely fabulously shot films. And not just the story or necessarily the iconic actors, but really it was kind of like the grittiness and like the take on the tone that the films had that you don't duplicate today. Like today you get absolutely mind-blowing effects of all kinds. You really do. And you got really well-written stories. And I think the drama has increased tenfold, but you don't get that down to earth, that grittiness, that rawness that you see in those films. And it's neat to me to see someone of a different generation pick up on that because, we just took it for granted because we grew up with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Another thing.
And also back then, and I always say this, it says my mic is muted. Is that true?
No.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, it just popped up. Your mic is muted. That's why I asked. In the 70s and 80s, there wasn't like there is today. There wasn't a movie theater on every block, and they didn't have 40 screens. So back then, there was a little more of a quality, there are better films because they don't have to churn out 100 movies every year now to fill the screens for these, for these multiplex, theaters. And I've run them. I've run 25 screen theaters, complexes, and eventually you've got the same movie playing on 6 screens because, they're not putting anything out. So yeah, I think that's why. I think it's one reason films were better back then, because they took a little more time. They didn't have to, because everybody wasn't going. Nowadays, I think the Avengers made like $200 million opening weekend. The last Avengers film, Jaws made $100 million its first, in 8 months. So it's just, you'd have to rush to get everything in. Nowadays, everybody sees everything opening weekend, and then they just play to empty theaters because so they just put out so much crap that sometimes good ones get lost.
Yeah. You ever go to the
I'll get off my
Philadelphia
soapbox. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay. You ever go to the Philadelphia airport, and as you're going through the airport, on the walkways, they have all the movies that were made, not all of them, but most of the movies posters of what were made. And then sometimes you think back and you're like, oh my God, I forgot about that movie. And you look back and you're like, it was a pretty shitty movie. But back then we were like, it's okay movie. But like, I'm sorry. And Mary Lee, Susie, if she's watching this, I like Top Gun when it came out, but like I watch it now, I just laugh. I'm like, it's so cheesy, guys. I'm sorry, but like I know everybody's like Goose and all that. Like Mad Max is like a kick-ass movie. It still holds like The Thing and all that, but I don't know. Maybe it's Tom Cruise. I don't know, Mike. What is it? Just want.
I like Tom Cruise.
I just want Jimmy the Snooker Fly. I'm like, just take him down and like beat the crap out of him.
I have to agree with you, Jay. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan myself.
I never have been, except for the vampire movie and then the Born on the 4th of July movie, which was freaking good. I mean, I was impressed, but
I thought he was good. I mean, he's done good films. I thought The Last Samurai was a good film that probably didn't get a lot of credit, but I don't know, something about him. Not a fan of his.
I don't know. I know what it is. It's like, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, Risky Business, that was cool. And then what was the other young movie? Oh, he was in The Outsiders. Remember, he had a short part in that before his
a
teeth
lot of people in
got-
The Outsiders. Yeah,
He fixed his teeth. I mean, before he had the character of broken teeth, but he had bad teeth before it. They show before and after. But yeah. On that note, my favorite.
I'm trying to think who he was. Trying to think of his character name in The Outsiders. I read that book. I loved that book as a kid.
I forget the name of it too. I read the book, seen the movie like a million times. That's another movie I saw. Like I would go to I was in love with Pony Boy and Ralph and
Stay Golden.
Ralph Macchio.
Stay Golden. That's right. Stay Golden.
Nature's first green is gold. Her heart is you to hold. Right?
Yeah.
Was he in the Wolverines too or no?
No.
Oh no. Red Dawn. No. Everybody but
Red Dawn. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was in Taps, though.
He was in Taps with Billy Van Zandt. With Billy Van Zandt.
Yeah, that's what I was
we
thinking.
saw that scene. He was good in that actually.
Yeah, he was.
I think so. Wait, they say, Nate, James, you kill me. I don't know what it is. You know what they say? They put like he wears like these inserts in his shoes to make him like lift up, to make him taller, I guess.
To make him taller. Alan Ladd, they used to dig because he did a lot of westerns. They would dig a trench for the other actors to stand in, so he would be the same height.
How do you know that? That's a freaking awesome fact right there.
Well, thank you.
That is awesome. Like your knowledge of these, like it's so amazing. I'm so like in awe of that. Anyways,
read too much.
No, I had to re-update this because I'm like, where is it? Where's my Michael
There it
Facts?
is.
Michael Facts. I'll have to do like a video with like ding dong ding, and I'll make it come up and play like the crashing cymbals and 16 Candles. How racist that was. Anyways.
Well, hey, I saw a question from Victor quite a while ago. I thought it'd be interesting, not necessarily for me to answer, but for you guys to answer. But
here we go, right here, right?
yeah. So he said, "Would you like a reboot of the Jaws?" And this has become like a hugely controversial question that I've seen people literally get into screaming matches and obscenity matches over
on Facebook,
digital media on. Yeah. Would I like to see it redone? I would have to say no, because to be honest with you, no matter what you do, you're never going to capture that. Not in the time period, not capturing what's happening.
No.
If someone remade it, would I slam my money down and go see it?
Oh yeah, of course. Sure I would.
Oh,
Sure I would.
Yeah. Probably twice in case I missed something the first time. So yes, absolutely. And I would probably buy it if it came out, but what do you guys think? And who would have to play the roles?
Well, this all started like 10 years ago. Tracy Morgan gave an interview, and he jokingly said that they were going to remake Jaws with an all-black cast with Denzel as Brody, Morgan Freeman as Quint, and Tracy Morgan was going to play Hooper. And then all of a sudden that just exploded, and people were just like, oh, they're going to do this. There's going to be this. I would hate it. I'm like you. I would go see it, but and it may be a good movie. It could win 1 million Oscars, but it wouldn't be.
Yeah, you know what?
Jaws to me.
Yeah.
You know what? They could probably get Tom Cruise to play Quint's first mate, the one that wears the orange hat.
I actually think Herschel is taller. Herschel West was taller than Tom Cruise.
You're killing me, Smalls.
But so if you did it now, I would. John Hamm would be Brody. They'd probably make Seth Rogen Hooper. And,
oh God, that's a good one right there, Mike. Yes, I agree with that.
And he's probably too old now. But Ian McShane, when he was doing Deadwood, I always thought, wow, he would have made a good Quint.
Yes, he talked when I watched that. That was all like series. I always watched when he would say like, he's so filthy and dirty the way he talks.
Yeah, he would be Quint.
I never get offended by it because English people say that word all the time. But I was like, ew, he's a good actor, man. I love that guy. Did you see Pottersville? By the way, he does the scene. That actor does the scene, but it's like geared towards the Quint scene. But it's in that movie. You have to see Pottersville. It's basically like Quint's speech, but he's saying it, and it's that actor. I'm sorry, what's his name again?
Ian McShane.
I swear to God, I'll pull it up next time, the clip, but you have to see it. You'll be like, look it. Yeah, you were right. You don't even know this movie. It's called Pottersville, and he's in it, and he does the Quint scene. But anyways,
so okay. Nate, who would you cast?
You know what? I was trying to think about that because I knew you'd throw that back at me. So now I got to come up with something, right? You know what? The toughest one I think to cast would have to be either Quint or Brody. I think a couple people could play Brody. I'm not that versed in actors, but I'm trying to think people who could pull off scenes without a lot of dialogue, that could do it strictly based off of facial features and body. I think Christian Bale might be able to do kind of like
yes.
Not that I'm a huge fan of his, but he has that demeanor to him. Like the way he pulled off.
He can do anything.
In Batman, he blew me away. In Machinist, I think he would be a good hit for that.
Bryan Cranston could be Quint.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think a cross between maybe like someone have to be very dry, very stern, almost like a Liam Neeson type, maybe towards Quint, but then would have to have that real sarcasm, that real kind of iffy attitude. So I don't know who I have to mix in there because I can't put my finger on a Quint. And Hooper, I'll be honest with you, you said Seth Rogen. That's like right on the
that is good, Michael. That is good.
Yeah.
And I like actually when you just said, who did you just say, Nate, for
Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson.
I couldn't, even though he'd be in it, he'd be good. If I hadn't seen, all his movies, I could just find him and I will kill. Like I can't. I wouldn't be able to because we've already seen him. But yeah, I think Michael. I gotta get that. I keep forgetting that actor's name, but I think that actor.
Ian McShane.
I pull up that clip. Yeah. But I know what you're talking about with Liam Neeson, but I love it. Here's an ongoing joke with me and my boyfriend. We're always like, when we're being sarcastic to each other, like, yeah, good luck with that. I'm always like, good luck.
Good luck.
And we know exactly what he's talking about. Like, good luck. I love that scene.
I could see him. I could see Liam Neeson in the town hall scene going, I have a very certain set of skills.
And, town hall.
It'll cost you. Yes, it'll cost you $10,000. Yeah. I can't see
Downey Jr. as Quint, but that's a good one. Actually, you never know because Downey Jr. is multi-talented. He was amazing in Chaplin. I mean, you never know with him.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Oh yeah, good actor.
You never know. Could put a wig on him, like an old hair, like a must. Yeah, you never know. That's pretty cool. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson is the mayor. Now that is a twist right there. Yes, yes.
That would put an interesting spin on things.
I'd be like, we're not gonna effing close the effing
That's right.
beaches.
That's right. I want those mother effing beaches open this weekend. That's right.
Say shark again.
Yes.
You, Chris, you want your goddamn name, the National Geographic,
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah, I like that. Say shark again. I dare you. I double dare you. What does a shark look like? What? What? Say what again? Say shark again. Oh
Roll
wow.
right into sharks on a plane, snakes on a plane too.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I love it. I love
The
it.
mayor,
I love
mayor be
it.
like, I want this mother blanket shark off this mother blanket ocean. Yeah.
You know, my son was mother effing out there too. You know, mother effer. I'm my son, not just your son.
That's cool. We should
that's
just,
great.
if I win the Mega Millions this week, the 250 million, we will remake Jaws, and we will have Samuel L. Jackson in that movie
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well,
Somewhere.
We could copy another site that did like a some kind of a remake of did their own Jaws take on it. Maybe we could get a bunch of people that are come on to this site to give us a little video of theirs.
That would be awesome. We have some
if they
characters
want.
here. I think
Yeah.
there's some cool scenes. Yeah.
Dude, that'd be
No,
fun.
what would be fun one week is everybody just send everybody links, and then everybody does a line from the film.
Yes.
You just bring them up. You do a
Yes.
line, you drop them, bring them somebody up.
That would be awesome.
Adrian Brody. I didn't see that map before. Adrian Brody as Brody. Hey, I like it.
Cranston is Quint. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are probably wondering who that is, and Michael knows who it is because we talked about this last week. Okay, Michael.
Oh, Sean. Is that
All
Sean
right,
Cassidy?
so we always leave the show with a song now. That's our new thing. So we're gonna leave you now with this song that we sang last week, and it's Sean Cassidy.
Everybody
you
sing
ready?
along.
I'm gonna mute you guys. Thank you, Nate, for coming on. Thank
Hey.
you, everybody, again.
Thank you guys. Drink on me tonight, guys.
Oh yeah.
Drink to your legs and drink
Drink
to your
on me
legs.
tonight. Drink to your leg.
There you
drink to
go.
your leg, and I'll drink to my leg.
And I
Thank
drink
you.
to my leg.
Yay! I'm gonna shut our microphones off, but we're gonna be like the Birdie Bunch and say goodbye and wave,
Oh.
okay?
Can't we sing along?
I think you can. There's no echo. I don't know. I think you can. Yeah. No, there's